Hello everyone, welcome back. Obviously you can see that I'm out riding my bike at the moment. On my way back, I think I've done about 66 kilometers. I think by the time I'm back at the car, it should be just 90, maybe I might hit 90. I think it might be just under 90 there, but anyway, we will make 90. Riding time so far, I'm just 3 hours 25. But the reason why I'm telling you this is, how do you keep yourself entertained riding for, 3.5 hours? I probably have at least an hour to go. So I'm listening to podcasts, a couple of episodes of the same podcast. And I have discovered this podcast a couple of weeks ago now, and usually listening to the podcast when I go to work on the train or coming home on the train. I think you're supposed to listen to the podcast when you go to bed because it makes you help fall asleep. So the podcast is called Fall Asleep with Henrik, and he's a Swedish dude, obviously from Sweden, who does those podcasts. And I just really enjoy listening to the podcast because he doesn't have a script or a topic or anything. He just literally turns on the microphone and just talks for about an hour, and that's it, So of course, usually people, they fall asleep to it because there's this guy, basically just talking in the background. So I've been listening to a couple of episodes now on this long ride, and it was a really good companion because you can listen, but you can't let your mind wander. And even if you have missed maybe a couple of minutes or longer on the podcast because you're in your own world, it doesn't matter. It's not like that you have missed anything important, I hope. But it's just so, for me in a way, quite distracting in a way that I can listen to something. It's almost like having a conversation with someone because the topics he talks about, or just whatever things come to his mind, and it's quite inspiring as well to, I don't know, how someone can just, talk for an hour and come up with all those things to say, obviously, while talking. So anyway, if you do something for a long time, you go maybe hiking, or you have a long drive ahead, or a bike ride, or working in the garden, and you just need something in the background, just listening to the podcast Fall Asleep with Henrik, and let me know what you think. I would be really interested to know what your feedback on the podcast is, because as I said, I like it. Just want to see what other people think. And I don't know, the topics that come up in that podcast remind me of a time a couple of years ago now when I lived with two of my good mates in a shared house, and this podcast reminds me so much of the time, and it was an amazing time to just the ramblings we had. Like, we started off with something and just, when you let your mind go and you talk about it with other people and what they contribute and how things can go is just utterly amazing. So anyway, I just have to pay a bit of attention now because there's a couple of riders ahead. I probably have to go a bit further than the pub today.
Oh,
Just back to Fernville.
enjoy your day.
Thank you, same to you.
You going to Fernvale?
Yes. Thank you. Enjoy your afternoon. I'm back. I made it 90 kilometers. I had to go past my car for about 400 meters and come back, but things you do to make it to 90 kilometers. So let me just move you a little. Here, that's better. So what have you been up to this week? Today is Saturday, and I made the effort to drive out to this place here in Fernville, which is about an hour from where I live, with my bike there in the background, and to go on the ride along the Brisbane Valley Rail Trail, which I think the whole length of the Brisbane Valley Rail Trail is 167 kilometers. Not that I did that today, but I went to Esk, which is about 45 kilometers from here, and back. And I used to struggle, I never really did actually, to do those rides on my own. I always, and I can't tell you why. I don't know if I was afraid or scared of anything, not safety wise, but yeah. But I also noticed what I have been doing in the past is, if I have ideas of doing something, like going on a hike, going to the markets, or doing a bike ride like that, that if I don't have anyone who goes with me, I wouldn't go. But that ultimately means I miss out on life. Does it make sense? I hope so. So I just don't want to miss out on life, I guess. I just still want to use the opportunities. If I want to do something and nobody wants to come with me, well, why can I not go on my own? I do enjoy my own company. I have no problem with spending, 4.5 hours riding, an hour drive each way on my own. I don't need to have company. I mean, it would be nice if someone comes along, but it's also not essential. So I don't know why in the past I thought I can't do those things because they're not enjoyable when nobody is with you. But then I do almost prefer my own company. So it's a bit contradictory, and I cannot explain to you why I thought this, why in the past couple of years I didn't do certain things, because either people were too busy, or they're simply because they didn't want to come, which is fine, not everyone is wanting to do 90 kilometer bike rides. Yeah, interesting.